Welcome back to We Talking About Sports. And you know what it is. It's the UFC MMA Tap Hour for UFC 292. Ben, what's up? Good to have you back on the Tap Hour tonight. We are missing Roland and Ron. Producer Ron did hook us up with a little bit of graphics for tonight, so thankful for that. Ben, are you ready for UFC 292?
Yeah, man, UFC 292. I'm sorry, I'm here on Facebook trying to repost the repost
Well,
the show.
someone got home court advantage on UFC 292. It's going to be in Boston. Sugar Sean's going to have that home court advantage. Yes, he lives in Arizona, but the Irish runs deep in Boston, and he's going to have the fans on his side.
Yeah, and I mean, also, Aljamain Sterling, he doesn't have very many fans, to be honest. A lot of people kind of have a disdain for him after that acting job that some say he pulled off against Peter Yan. I mean, he came back. We saw how he handled Peter Yan in the rematch. So he is a rightful champion. He's going to be trying to break the record for most title defenses in the division. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, man. I think that this is one we've already seen it, in the betting market. The line for O'Malley for Sterling, he opened up a pretty big favorite. I think he even opened up as big as 3-1. He's now around minus 245. Tomorrow after weigh-ins, I don't know. They had a presser today, so I think money is only going to be coming in on O'Malley, and that line on Sterling is only going to get better. So if y'all are wanting to play Sterling, I know we're going to get into it later. But yeah, we're probably going to have to wait on that line up until fight day.
Well, tomorrow or Saturday night, we are going to have the culmination of the Ultimate Fighter on the left. And it's a unique opportunity for one Brad Katona, Ben. This is the first time someone's going to be eligible to be a two-time Ultimate Fighter. He's won his first season and he's fighting again. And Ben, I want to highlight something. Before the
But
Ultimate Fighter started, you said Conor McGregor would be a selfish coach and you figured Michael Chandler was going to win. Well, guess what? Conor McGregor's not showing up for his boy Brad Katona, who trains at his home gym, who left Michael Chandler's team to go train with Conor. He's not showing up, Ben. You won't be there at UFC 292.
right, I mean, his team won one fight the whole show. I think it was something that we saw coming. They have him up there as one of the worst coaches. Along with there's been some pretty bad coaches on there. Rampage, Brock Lesnar. I don't believe was a very good coach. Ken Shamrock back in the day, horrible coach.
Mhm.
So yeah, it was a clinic. You saw the coaching rooms, and Michael Chandler had all of his guys there, and we've seen. Is it Owen Roddy? Is his name Connor's coach? Is that his name?
It's the other one, his jiu-jitsu coach. The other, not the striking coach. Owen Roddy's a striking coach. We're talking about the jiu-jitsu coach. He's the one that's going to be taking over. The
Okay,
one that runs SBG.
yeah, but I mean, even them, like their claim to fame is Connor. They really don't have much. You spoke about Brad Katana possibly being a two-time champ. We know that he trains out of SBG, so he came into the show. They separated them in vets and rookies. And Katana, obviously a vet, he's won this competition before. Got kicked out of the UFC for losing some pretty tough fights. If you look back at it, I mean, he didn't get re-signed or he got cut after losing to Marab, and we see where Marab has landed himself now. But it also looks like a different Brad Katana going through the show. Like he looks pretty yoked. He looks like he's on that Conor McGregor fast, as some might call it. I call it, the juice is what it should be called instead of the fast. But yeah, Ultimate Fighter finale. I know that we have two of the fights, right? And why is Chris Weidman's leg broken just there in the middle of the screen, dog? That's
So
wild.
so he's coming back. The UFC 292 is his comeback party. Ray Longo's going to be coaching two fellas tonight that night, and he hasn't fought since this injury. So I just wanted to highlight his comeback. He's pretty upset being on the prelims. He's not happy about that at all.
I mean, maybe if he'd win a fight, he's been knocked out 6 out of his last 8 fights. They do give him a guy here, and Brad Tavares. Brad Tavares, surprisingly enough, I mean, Chris Weidman's 39 years old. Obviously, one devastating injury, right? Pretty bad injury. It's been a while since that injury. He has had fights since that injury, but I mean, he obviously hasn't been the same guy. But Brad Tavares has been in the UFC since 2010, bro. Chris Weidman broke onto the scene in 2011. So really, I mean, at least they're giving Chris Weidman, a fight, somebody that kind of on his level. Maybe the line doesn't say that he's necessarily on his level right now because they got Brad Tavares as a minus 242. Brad Tavares, we've got minus 272. The comeback on Chris Weidman at plus 222. So, seeing Chris Weidman as a plus 222 against a guy like Brad Tavares coming off of a knockout loss against Bruno Silva. Brad Tavares, pretty hard to finish. You know what I mean? I think he claims Hawaii, so you know that those Hawaiians are tough. But I do think that this is a pretty good matchup for Chris Weidman, bro. I mean, do I think that he's going to finish him necessarily? I mean, maybe if he keeps him on the ground. Ray Longo does his Ray Longo minute, weekly on the Kenny Florian and John Anik podcast, and he didn't make it no secret. He said the game plan is going to be to wrestle. That's going to be the game plan. Now,
we're not seeing Weidman throwing any kicks this weekend.
Yeah, and he kind of fell in love with his striking. Obviously, he knocks out Anderson Silva, and then he starts getting some knockouts. But it's time for him to go back to his roots. He's got that All-American tattoo on his back. It's time to go back to that, man. I am a little worried about his cardio. I don't know if he can still wrestle for 3 rounds as a 39-year-old, but the disrespect in the line, bro. I mean, I'm taking some Chris Weidman this week, bro, at plus 222 against a guy like Brad Tavares that really doesn't scare me for the KO. Yeah, he might win a decision, but I'm willing at plus 222, I'm willing to ride with Weidman on this one. I might look stupid after this. He might be just as washed as Tony Ferguson. You know what I mean? And I don't really have that emotional bond with Weidman the way I do with Ferguson, right? Pause. But yeah, I really think that there is some value here at plus 222. For the Ultimate Fighter lines, real quick, I'll just tell you those. Brad Katana is the favorite, minus 165. The comeback on Cody Gibson, plus 135. Both guys didn't lose any fights in the Tough House. In this one, I'm actually going to be going with the dog and Cody Gibson. I don't like that Katana wanted to switch teams. You mentioned Connor's not even going to be there. It might be a plus that Connor's not there because the advice that he gives is terrible, bro. He's just out there in his suit saying uppercut, uppercut. So really, I think he's going to be better off with Connor not there. But I'm going to go with Cody Gibson at plus 135 as the dog. And I'm going to say that there isn't going to be a 2-time Ultimate Fighter winner. In the next fight, it's Austin Hubbard against Kurt Hollabaugh. Another weight class. There was 2 different weight classes in this season of Ultimate Fighter. On here, you got Austin Hubbard minus 177. You got Kurt Hollabaugh plus 147. Over-under is 2.5. Juice to the over at minus 160. I really don't have a feel for this one. To be honest with you, I know Hollabaugh fought Jason Knight, Mississippi Mean Jason Knight on to get to the finals. And Jason Knight, I mean, he's a shell of himself. It was a hell of a fight, probably the best fight of the season on The Ultimate Fighter. Happened 2 weeks ago. If y'all haven't seen it, go on ESPN Plus, check that one out. But yeah, man, this one I really don't have a feel. If I had to, I would lean the dog as well, just because I think that they're pretty evenly matched. But no really strong lean for me in this one with Austin Hubbard and Kurt Hollabaugh.
I had a disconnect. Sorry about that, guy.
You're back, bro. Don't worry. I filled in the gap. Broke down the 2 Ultimate Fighter finales. I'm over here busting a sweat because I was going so hard, boy. But yeah, so give me a little bit of Weidman. I know we're not going to really get into his fight, but I kind of already did. But yeah, give me Chris Weidman as a big dog.
All right. Well, let's open up with the first fight, the curtain jerker of the night. We got Pedro Munoz versus Marlon Chito Vera. And I think this one's interesting. A lot on the line here for Chito Vera. He has that history with O'Malley. He has highlighted that if O'Malley wins, he believes he's next for the title shot based on the beef they've had in the past when they fought and O'Malley lost. Ben, what do you think about this fight? And does Chito's, what he's saying, do you hold any weight to that? Does that make sense for you?
I think it does make some sense just based off what happened to boring ass, what's his name that broke his elbow his last fight? Yeah, Sandhagen. And you've heard the same sentiments from the O'Malley camp. We'll get into that. If O'Malley wins, that's a pretty big if. Shout out to Costner here in the comments saying Brother Aljo will snatch O'Malley next. And then he says Brother Chris Weidman is looking slow and stiff on the embeddeds. I haven't got into the embeddeds yet. I like to watch those on Friday, like little binge watch. It's a good 30 minutes.
All of them at once.
Right after weigh-ins or before weigh-ins, I like to check those out. But thanks for tuning in, Josh. In the comments, where's a barbecue? Jeremy Raw in the comments. Definitely going to be a barbecue this Saturday for this one, Josh. But the line for this fight, Justin, we do have Camarada
Throwing
Chito Vera minus 215. The comeback on Pedro Munoz is plus 175. Over 2.5 favored at minus 323. Both of these guys pretty hard to finish. I don't see a finish going on, so I do agree with that over. But minus 323, what are you going to do with that? Maybe put it in a parlay. As far as the line goes, minus 215 with Chito as a favorite. It is a 3-round fight. He does tend to start off slow. I know we got to see him in action in San Antonio. Yeah. Shout out Bull in the chat. He was in attendance, AT&T Center, to watch Chito, let us all down, let the raza down. But he usually
Ecuadorian raza.
Yeah, the Ecuadorian raza. He's still raza. It's going to be a close fight, bro. It really is, but he doesn't lose back-to-back. I think that he's pretty salty about the performance that he put on in San Antonio. I like him to come back and win this fight. I don't like the line based on a 3-round fight. I think that, if live is available to you, I would wait and probably take Chito after the first round because, like I said, he does tend to start off slow. Pedro Munoz, he's very active. We know what happened to him, against O'Malley with the eye poke and the no contest.
Yeah.
A fight that many people think that he was winning. So Pedro Munoz is no joke. Chito Vera's tough. For sure, I think this is a decision. I think if you want to go the Chito Vera route, wait until after the first round and then get in on Chito, maybe closer to even, if not plus money after losing the first round. But if you're just going pre-fight, man, I love Chito, but minus 215 is a lot to lay, bro. I would have to pass. I picked Chito just because I don't want to pick against him, and I do think that his kicks down the middle, this is going to be a stand-up fight. I don't think Munoz is going to be taking Chito down.
What'd you say the line was of Chito by decision?
I don't have it up, but I can definitely find that if you want to give us your take on this.
Because here's the thing. Pedro Munoz, I don't see this fight being close. This is a guy who lost to Frankie Edgar not so long ago.
Yeah.
I just don't see this one being close.
That's a bad loss, bro. That's a pretty bad loss.
That's a terrible loss to lose recently to Frankie Edgar. And I just think Chito, he lost to Sanhagen, who is not my guy, but is a high-level fighter. He neutralized Chito, and I don't think Pedro Munoz has the tools that Sanhagen has, the length that Sanhagen has to neutralize a guy like Marlon Vera. So I don't think this fight's close at all. I think 2-1 is the right call by the odds makers. Okay. I really do.
All right, damn, and I have every prop except the Chito fight, bro.
Well, it's fine. Oh, that's what I would look to play. Chito by decision.
Chito by decision. Chito by decision minus 125. I think that's the way to go. Okay. Yeah, I'm not down to lay minus 215, but decision for sure.
Ron says Chito disappointed me versus Sanhagen. Don't sleep on Munoz.
Yeah, and Gabe says, Ben, if Chito gets sugar after this, who you got? We saw how bad he punked him in the first fight, bro. As a fellow hater, Gabe, that you are, I'm an O'Malley hater, brother. So, yeah, I'm going to be picking against him all the time. Yeah. Josh says Chito has bad luck with decisions, and, that might factor in. We never heard really of the judging in Boston being so bad. You hear of, like, Texas and some of these other states, but Boston, the fights usually go pretty hard there. This is going to be a banger for sure. I think that we're going to have a pretty close contested fight, and that's why I'm not down to lay 2-1. But Chito by decision, minus 125. That's the play right there, Josh.
Gabe saying, do you think Sugar hasn't gotten better? I think it's very obvious he's gotten better. We saw him, edge out a decision, a close decision against Peter Yan, and Peter Yan's not a joke. He's a former bantamweight champion.
It's a fight he lost, but whatever. We'll get to that.
He kept it close. He kept it close. But the question is, do you not think that he's gotten better? Yeah, he's gotten better.
I don't know if he's gotten better. I think he's still.
I think his grappling's a little bit better.
Remember, he broke against Chito. Has he gotten stronger? I don't think so. I still think that he's breakable. So
yeah, that may be true, but there's elements to his game. You've seen his ground game.
We're going to find out this weekend. Nah, we'll find out. Don't talk about his ground game. We'll find out
this weekend. It's better, though. We have to highlight if it's better or not. Yes, it's better. Is it good enough to beat Aljo? That I don't know. we'll talk about that when we talk about that. We're
Yeah,
not there yet.
well, yeah, we'll talk about that because there's going to be some exposure going on.
Yeah. Well, let's go to the guy who kind of filled in because Cody Garbrandt can't seem to make a fight. This is Mario Batista versus Damon Blackshear. Damon Blackshear is the fill-in, and he will be the dog in this fight. Ben, do you have the line there?
I do have the line, and shout out to Blackshear. He won last week by Twister. He won his fight,
Yeah.
and he signed up, stepped in on short notice to take on
Third ever over
on
Twister
Mario
ever.
Batista here. Yeah, on Mario Batista in 7-day notice, he ties the fastest turnaround. 7 days. Chimaev did 10 days. Do you know who did 7 days, Justin?
I would think like Kevin Holland or somebody like that.
It's a female, bro.
Definitely don't know it then if it's that.
Lupe Rodriguez.
Lupe?
1 week turnaround. She didn't win both fights, so nobody has won both fights after turning around that fast, but she did turn around in 7 days and fought again. Mario Batista minus 237. The comeback on Damian Blackshear plus 187. Over
So
under
odds have
2.5
fallen off on
rounds.
him because he started almost at minus 300.
Really? Well, yeah. And you know the question was, were they going to make Blackshear make weight again, or were they going to do a catch weight? Everything's pointing. I mean, I know tomorrow they get on the scales, and sometimes they do change it up on the day of. Some people were thinking they were going to do a 140 catch weight because he just fought in weight cut.
It's so
They're
hard to
saying
fight two weight
135,
cuts
bro.
in a row, man.
Yeah, but they're saying it's going to be at 135, so I think that also plays into the line. Yeah.
It has to.
Yeah.
But the lines dropped, though. That's the weird case because you would think you would just go further knowing that someone's got a weight cut twice in 2 weeks.
Yeah, but how much of that is it because of what's that word of when like the last thing you saw is good? What like
the lasting impression, you know?
That's yeah. He just had a very lasting impression winning by Twister 5 days ago.
Right? High level jiu-jitsu, if you can pull off a Twister, only 3 have been done. So
definitely a different opponent though. Mario Batista has shown out when he has been fighting. I know that he is on a win streak himself. Do I want to lay minus 200 on him? Also, no. I think that this is a pass. This is a no bet. I don't even know if he gets the finish. But this is going to be one that kind of going to be hard for the Top Master competition that we do. I mean, do we want to take the chance with Blackshear? He did look really good. He is in really good shape. He didn't take much damage last week, but we're not worried about the damage. We're worried about the weight cut. And just based off, 2 weight cuts in a week, we've seen that never go well for people. Remember Tony Ferguson when he pulled that during COVID. Yeah. So, yeah, this is a stay away fight for me.
Same. I will say I think Mario Batista does win though.
It's going to be a good fight.
I'm going to go with him. I'm going to go with the favorite here. I'm not going to go with the dog. Let's move it over, bro, to a fight that got personal today. It's Ian Machado Gary, and he is going to be fighting Neil Magny. And there's some words, about kids that got crossed over. Magny was saying things like "you beat your kid" or whatever. It got real personal. It didn't really need to get that way, but it did.
Magny didn't say it. I think Ian Gary said it.
Someone said it. I still have to look it up. But it got personal. It shouldn't have got there, but it did. And you know what this is for Ian Machado Gary? It's the gatekeeper of the welterweight division. If you beat Neil Magny, you get the fight that you need to get yourself on the right path to being in the contention to top 5, top 10. This is the gatekeeper. This is the who's who of the welterweight that says you may pass or you may not pass. Ian Machado Gary is coming up humongous favorite, minus 500, 5-1 odds here over Neil Magny. First off, what is your reaction to these odds? These odds are crazy.
Yeah, the odds are pretty crazy. It is a short notice fight for Neil Magny. He stepped in for Jeff Neal. Keep him in your prayers if you do pray. He had medical issues, had to step out. We know that he almost died with a staph infection a couple of years ago. So Jeff Neal's gone through a lot, man. Trains out of Dallas with Coach Saif Sayud and them. We saw that he was in that war against Shavkat his last fight. And Jeff Neal was going to be a really good test for Ian Gary. I think that we would have gotten the stand-up fight that we wanted.
It would have been excellent to see those two dudes go at it stand-up because none of them are shooting. None of them are going to the ground for that.
Yeah, so shout out Jeff Neal. Get better. But back to this one. We got Neil Magnimetov here. You know, the grinder. He's gonna want to put Ian Gary up against the fence. He's gonna want to muck it up.
Get to
But
the
man, when
floor.
yeah, but when Magny gets hit, you know, he has pretty bad reactions when he gets hit. He never really rolls with it. He shows that the punch landed. He shows that it affected him. So I think that's why the line is this big. Do we have the last five for Neil Magny or no?
I don't have them. I could tell you who they are. I could pull them up. I don't have the graphic for
Just
them.
because I think that it's like 3 or 4 losses out of his last 5 fights. I don't have it
Last
right off the top of my head.
last 5 fights is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 losses in the last 5. Gilbert Burns and Shavkat are his last losses.
Who were
He's
his
got
wins?
wins over Daniel Rodriguez, Phil Rowe, and Max Griffin.
So not really the best guys. I think Justin, this is a fight of like,
And he beat Jeff Neal.
is Ian Machado bigger than Conor McGregor? Like Gabe says in the comments, is he going to be that next star? Do you believe the hype? I mean, I know that you don't agree with the 5-1 odds because we already talked about that. I do think that Ian Gary deserves to be the favorite, no doubt about it, especially because of the short notice. But so how do you see the fight going down?
So I like you said, Neil Magny's going to muck this fight up, and he's going to try to take it to the ground. He's going to get him against the cage. That's what's going to happen. And Ian Machado Gary's a one-trick pony. He's a stand-up fighter. He is not a ground game fighter. That's why I don't agree with 5-1 odds. I don't think when you have one skill set, you should ever be 5-1 favorite. I just don't. I don't think that's the case here. He's one dimensional. Very exciting with that one dimensional. He's got some of the better stand-up I've seen since Wonderboy. He's that good. He's that high level. We've seen him be real aggressive. We've seen him get guys out of there. Does he have the potential to match Conor McGregor's star status? No, because I don't believe there's a foil for him. There's nobody that Conor had. And Conor had guys that would, he could talk crap to and play off with. I don't think there's any personalities in the UFC right now that can match that level, that can, talk crap back. Today got way personal with Neil Magny, and I don't think that's the way to sell the fight,
Yeah. I mean, look, we can't touch the 5-1, so let's go over some props here. Neil Magny by decision plus 600. I think that you just have no business betting Neil Magny money line if you have the decision odds, because you're doubling the price, right? Neil Magny's probably not going to get him out of there. Do you think Neil Magny possibly subs him, or is Neil Magny's only path to victory decision?
I think we're looking at a decision if he were to get it done. Where
so
he's
plus
just
600
control timing it, holding him down and winning by control time.
Right.
I don't see him pulling off a sub. He has pulled off subs in the past, but I don't see it with a guy with the length of Ian Machado Gary.
Yeah, and Ian Gary by TKO, KO, or stoppage is minus 115. That's a playable
line.
Yeah, but from minus 505 to minus 115 by KO, and it's his clearest path to victory.
I mean, you're not going to lay that much juice. So if you're looking to play Ian Machado Gary, those are the lines you're playing.
I do think that he wins. And I think that, like you said, Neil Magny's a gatekeeper. So if he runs through Neil Magny, he might, obviously, I don't want to say start living up to that hype, but the hype train keeps rolling on, right? Ian Gary by decision plus 250. If it goes the distance, it's because, Neil Magny was able to take him down, was able to stall out the rounds. So I don't see him winning a decision either. Josh says Ian Gary under 1.5. Josh, I think that the odds are better on Ian Gary by KO than under 1.5. I mean, if he KOs him, yeah, maybe it happens in under 1.5. But if he does it in the later part of the second round or early third, you still get that at minus 115. So if you have Ian Gary by KO, I would play that at minus 115 rather than the under 1.5. It's a little juiced, and you only have 7.5 minutes to get that one. You have 15 full minutes to get the KO.
Gabe says, is this the fight that we're most excited for now that it's personal?
No.
I think the main event's still the most exciting fight, but this fight did go up in the rankings of what I was looking forward to.
It's still lower, bro. I mean, excited for a Neil Magny fight? The excited and Neil Magny should never be.
There's a storyline now, so you got to invest a little bit more.
I mean, if
I
you buy
believe.
into storylines, that was pretty
I think
stupid.
that's what we all look for in fights is like
That's
little storyline
I
added.
think that that's one of those storylines that maybe Ariel Helwani buys into, but it was pretty stupid, bro. It was dumb.
Yeah.
Neil Magny just said that he got raised, harder. His dad used to, I guess discipline him, and maybe he exaggerated a little bit saying beat him. And this fool ran with it and said that now Neil Magny beats his kids and whatnot. So it was pretty. It was a pretty. It was a.
It's
It was
cringe
a.
for you.
It was a reach. It was a stretch
Okay.
by Machado.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get to the co-main here, Ben. And we got Zhang Weili versus Amanda Lemos. I don't have the odds for them, but I'm sure you could pull them up for me here.
Yep, I
What
sure
do you got
can.
going on for this co-main
Yeah,
title
this is a title
defense?
fight. So we got two title fights on this card. We know Dana's from Boston. When they go to Boston, he likes putting on a show. I think that this is one of the more stacked cards of the year? I really don't.
No.
I mean, I guess if people are really Sean O'Malley fans, that's where you get your bang on this card, right? With Sean O'Malley fighting, but I thought that this card was honestly going to be better. It's a tough finale on the prelims, but I really did think that the card was going to be better.
Yeah,
Uh,
Sean's carrying the card. I mean, that's the name they're coming off of using
for
him
sure.
with the
And like,
Boston
I
territory.
get that they're throwing names in there like Chris Weidman and stuff. Yes, it's name value, but I mean, I
No
don't
one's
know.
getting excited to see a Chris Weidman fight. There's a reason why he's on the prelims. He deserves it.
Facts. I think that if Jeff Neal was still in there against Gary, it would be like the most exciting
Yeah.
fight in the card, right?
The people's main event.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So here I got the line. Zhang Wei Li minus 335. Comeback on Amanda Lemos plus 265. Over under 3.5 rounds. It's championship fight, obviously 5-round fight. I mean, this is pretty simple for me, to be honest. I think that Zhang Wei Li is going to be champ for a while. I think that she's going to run through this chick, Amanda Lemos. The under 3.5 is pretty juiced. I do like the fight to end in the first 2 rounds. I think that she's going to get her out of there pretty easy. And then, especially tomorrow, I know that there was probably face-offs today at the press conference, but tomorrow, after the weigh-ins, when you see the size difference, bro, like it's. I know we use the term that's a man playing with boys with kids. Like this is going to be, a grown-ass woman, not an old woman, just a grown woman fighting, a regular woman, bro. Like, no disrespect, but this chick is different.
There's levels.
Yeah, there's levels, and I think that she's going to dominate. I think she finishes round 1, round 2, and yeah, just adds to her title reign.
Yeah. So the question is, how does she win? Because this is a woman who gets the knockouts, who gets submissions. What's her path to victory here? Amanda Lemos is tough.
It's
Do you
going to
think
be
it's just
ground
going to
and
grind out
pound.
decision, or do you think she gets her finish?
She's going to take her down, and I think that she's going to ground and pound her. She's probably going to get a mount or get her back and get her belly down and just start pounding away. I see the finish by ground and pound with Wei Li in either side control, full mount, or, like I said, she gives her the back. Josh says under 2.5. I'm only seeing 3.5, but if you have 2.5, like I said, I like her round 1 or round 2, so that 2.5 is going to have way less juice. I like that, Josh. I'm going to look for what Wei Li is inside the distance real quick while you tell us what you like, Justin.
I like Weili Zhang, but I want to ask you: do you see a big difference between Amanda Lemos and the skill set of like a Carla Esparza, somebody
sure.
that Zhang was able to get through pretty easy?
For sure, there's definitely.
So she's gonna be. This is gonna be like when Lioness Amanda was fighting. It's gonna be easy. It's just how do I want to win? Is what you're saying.
It's because is she better than her? For sure, she's better than the Cookie Monster, right? But
also, you do think so? You're not saying Carla's better. You believe?
Oh yeah, I
Amanda's
believe that
better.
Lemos. I believe that Lemos is better
well.
just based on her athleticism and how she got thrown around. But the thing is, Lemos is a stand-up fighter. Carla was a wrestler, still got taken down and dominated. I think that it's going to be takedowns early and often. Whenever Wei Li wants a takedown, I think she's going to be able to get a takedown. So yeah, I think she's better, but it's just going to be a different approach, to this fight. Carla was just pulling guard, dropping on her back.
Yeah,
Wanting
that's why
Wei
she
Li
got
to get down there.
crucifixed too.
Right, but this chick, it's going to be a takedown that she's going to have to shoot. She's not just going to go down there. So here we got Wei Li by TKO or stoppage plus 115. Wei Li by decision plus 250. Amanda Lemos by decision plus 850. Amanda Lemos by TKO plus 400. We have a stoppage. So we have Wei Lee round one. Here we go. This is the juicy shit right here. Wei Lee round one plus 500. TKO. Wei Lee TKO round two plus 550. So yeah, man, I
I think
like
you got to
seeing
lay one of the two between those two right there. Probably
Wei
the
Lee
second
to
round.
win in round 1 through 5 minus 150. That's the play right there.
There it is. A little
So you got
juice, but not
5
enough
rounds
that
to
you
get her
can't
out of
play.
there, but it's minus 150. She's minus 370 some, on the money line. So minus 150 isn't bad.
Well, personally, I think we've talked about this fight a little bit longer than I would have liked.
It's
So
because
let's
we
get
got to
to
find a
the
way to play it. So yeah.
yeah. Let's get to the main event though. What we came here to see. It's Sugar Sean versus Aljo. Aljo, like you mentioned, is in contention to break the most title defenses records. Ben, if he does this, if he breaks the record, are we calling him the GOAT of the bantamweight division at this point? Do you have enough respect on Aljo's name to do it? Regardless if you don't like him or do like him, if you think he's an actor or not an actor,
Well,
he's got the
yeah,
numbers. Do
I'm
you
actually
respect
a
those
fan.
numbers?
I'm actually a fan, and I do respect the numbers because he hasn't ducked any fights. He's cleaning out the division. He's fighting whoever they put in front of him. I mean, if you ask me, he would have probably wanted this O'Malley fight sooner because I think that he's going to expose him, bro. I think he's going to be able to. This is the best wrestler. I mean, I don't think O'Malley has even fought a wrestler, coming into this fight. So that's why when you ask me, has he gotten better? I mean, have we seen really him in any tough times besides the Chito Vera fight where he decided to quit? Because bad things were going to happen to him if he didn't go down as, timid as he did on his foot. So we haven't seen him in any type of adversity. Here, like I mentioned, Aljamain opened up as a 3-1 favorite. It's going down because people love Sean O'Malley. He's the new hype train. The younger kids are gambling now, and they're putting those bets in on O'Malley. They see plus
That's
money.
probably where the money's coming from.
They see plus money on their favorite fighter, and they want to throw a little something on him. But I don't see it, man. I really don't see it. I think that when Gabe earlier said if he got the Khabib treatment, I think Khabib was a lot more worthy. And that's because a lot of people didn't even think Khabib, deserved the title shot when he did. But I think he was way more worthy than what we're getting with Sean O'Malley here. This is somebody that we've seen come through the Dana White Contender Series when Snoop Dogg and Uriah Faber were commenting them on, the original seasons. First edition. So this is the prized possession, Dana White's diamond gem that came out of his Dana White Contender Series. Yeah. There has been pretty good fighters come out of there, but this
is his guy.
Yeah, and even from the beginning, I mean, you saw, right, that he had the potential to be a champion. But when we go look at his last 5 fights, and then like Gabe says, Jan was rigged, I 100% thought that he lost the Jan fight. He lost to Chito. The Munoz fight, I thought he was losing, and they went to the scorecards after because the eye poke happened in round 2, and he had lost the first round on all 3 judges' scorecards, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So I know you said he's gotten better, and obviously he has to have gotten better, right?
Yeah, because we saw some stuff takedowns on Jan, so we know he got.
But Jan's not a wrestler, bro. Yeah. When have we seen Jan take anybody down? Like that's not what he does.
Wasn't Jan just taking down what's his name the last fight? He is somewhat a wrestler. He does have that skill set too.
You can't remember his name. He was taking down nobody.
Marab. He was taking down Marab.
Hell nah.
He took him down like once or twice.
No, Marab took him down 17 times, fam. Stop it.
Yes, but what I'm saying is he can do it too. We've seen him take down people as well.
Maybe he can get them to touch the mat, but he can't keep them there.
I'm just saying, has he gotten better? Yes, but because his score was real low.
I just,
so anything is better. That's what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, if you're going by those standards, but we're talking about.
But that's the standards that are presented right now.
No, we're talking about is he championship material or not?
Well, I'll say this: 3 fights ago, he was fighting Chris Motino, so he's obviously not coming up with the level of caliber of these other fighters.
Replacement, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's championship caliber. He hasn't fought anybody to tell us because 3 fights ago, he was fighting a guy who's no longer in the UFC.
So by those standards, he hasn't gotten better. To me, that's the way that I see it, and we're gonna find out. Aljo's a guy that'll take you down one time, and you're not gonna get up from that one takedown.
Yeah,
We
he'll
saw him
back
do
like him quick.
we saw him do it to somebody as skilled as Henry Cejudo, bro. He
We
was
saw
taking
him do it
Cejudo
to
down.
Corey Sanhagen. First round, backpacked him, choked him out. Aljo is that dude when it comes to the ground game.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not gonna go too far into this, but even if you've seen some of Aljo's, workout videos, if you've seen him on Twitter, Instagram, whatever,
In shape.
he's in really good shape. The only thing that does concern me is if this goes on like fourth, fifth round,
I don't
because
think it goes that far.
every round starts standing up. I agree with you. I don't think that it goes that far. I think maybe the second time he takes him down, he's able to finish him. But if it does go late, that is Sean O'Malley's chance. His chance is, that Connor punch against Jose Aldo, and his chances fourth and fifth round. Every round starts standing up. Maybe Aljo's gas because he's spamming takedowns if he's not able to get it initially. But man, this is Aljo by stoppage. Round 2, round 3 tops. I really think that he's going to get exposed. I think that they're talking about the Chito fight because if he loses and Chito's expected to win, then that's the perfect rebound fight. We know that there's history there, but I mean, Aljo's licking his chops, bro.
Oh,
This is the highest profile fight that he's had, and this is the biggest advantage that he's ever had in a title fight as well.
What's the number for Aljo by submission? Because I think that's more likely to me than Aljo by a knockout or TKO ground and pound. I think the submission is more likely in my
Aljo by sub. Yeah, I'm gonna give you the numbers on Aljo by sub, and I think that we should also give the numbers on what's his name by knockout.
by O'Malley by some chance that he gets a knockout.
Yeah, O'Malley. Maybe he gets some sort of knockout.
I mean,
that's his only path, right? That's his only
we've
path.
seen Aljo, eat it against Marlon Moraes, and just get completely knocked out
a long time ago.
A long time
ago, and it wasn't
2017,
and it was a knee, not a punch. Yeah. So O'Malley by TKO or KO stoppage plus 300, Aljo by decision plus 140, Aljo by sub plus 170.
You got to think you're playing decision and sub.
I think you're playing sub and TKO or KO because of the ground and pound. Plus 600. Give me a little bit of plus 600 and a little bit of plus 170. If it goes to the judges, might be a little sketch because of that fourth and fifth round. So I'll take both, sub and TKO stoppage. I really think that Aljo gets it done inside rounds 1 through 3. And like I said, he could, put him in a body triangle and just pound his face in, till his hair falls off. Or he's just going to take his neck. So give me Aljo by sub plus 170, Aljo by TK or stoppage plus 600. If either one wins, I mean, we're in the green.
Yeah. And as far as Aljo being the GOAT, I do like Aljo. I just don't think he's got the names that he needs to be the GOAT. That TJ Dillashaw probably would have helped him, but we know that was a one-arm TJ Dillashaw, and it took him, 2 rounds?
He has Cejudo under his belt, bro.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, it's you said it wasn't the GOAT either. I don't know what you're complaining about when I say he's not the GOAT either. So
I'm saying he's not the GOAT yet. No, he's not. Yeah. But I mean, I'm not saying that he doesn't have names under his belt. He's beaten the who's who. I said he's fought everybody. He's fought everybody.
But what I'm saying is because he fought a Dillashaw, that doesn't help him because we know Dillashaw was not the full TJ Dillashaw package that we could have got.
The way that
if he was a healthy Dillashaw, I would have probably said he's GOAT now. But
the way that he beat Sanhagen and where Sanhagen is,
well, he wasn't a champion then. We're talking about champion GOAT for the division.
Well, I mean, if you're talking about just champion GOAT based off the division, then just based off having the most title defenses, yes.
If he wins, he gets the most title defenses. If not, Cejudo still has it. So
he will win.
I think so. So that's where we're at. But what else do we want to talk about? I think there's one more thing. Yeah. So what happens here if Aljo wins? You think he's moving up, right? Like if he's done with the division, he's fought the who's who. It's time for Merab to get his.
Yeah, there's got to be nobody left at that point. He probably got to serve it up to Merab. This is his big money fight right here. You got to think Aljo's at least going to get paid $1 million for this fight. I don't know if he made $1 million for the Cejudo fight. I do think that he makes $1 million off of this fight.
I hope so. And if he loses, is he back in any way for the rematch, the rubber match, or he's still gone? Because it is hard for him to make this weight. You see how big he is compared to the other fighters on Fight Night.
He's not one of the favorites, and I don't know if Dana White would want to deem him a rematch just based off knowing that he wouldn't fight Marab. So I don't see him getting an immediate rematch, although he would deserve it. Just, he's been talking about moving up in weight. Dana White has been wanting him to fight Marab. He doesn't like that. I don't think that he gives him the immediate rematch. But if O'Malley does win, and let's say Chito loses, I think that it's O'Malley versus Marab for the belt next.
Not Sanhagen, because Sanhagen's hurt, right? So there's no way he's getting this fight.
Come on now.
He just looks like he wants this shot. Like he feels like he's going to get passed up. You can tell he's upset about it.
Well, he knows he's going to get passed up. Dana White walked out of his fight in the middle of the fight. That shit was lame. It was a main event with the lowest amount of significant strikes landed. Like
it was terrible. It was I turned it off myself. I was like, we already know what's going to happen anyway.
And then what? He's just going to go and fight O'Malley for the belt and do that shit to him, take him down and hump him. There's no way he's getting a shot.
Bro, but how did that guy go from one of the most exciting strikers to that? Like, that's just, it's crazy.
I don't know what's been going on with him his last two fights, but yeah, we thought that we were going to get a banger between him and Chito standing up, and he decided to, be diving for ankles all fight. So, yeah.
And we've seen him do it twice now in 2 fights, so it's definitely him. It's not Chito and the other guys.
Real quick, I'm just going to get the line for that main event so we can close out the show on the Holloway versus Korean Zombie fight.
Let me pull up the outro video. And I want to say thank you to everybody who scanned the Instagram QR code tonight. We really do appreciate the follows, guys. Thanks for helping us grow our Instagram.
Max Holloway minus 825.
That's fair. It's
Korean Zombie plus 5. You think that's fair?
That's I thought it could get higher. Could be like a minus 1,000. It wouldn't surprise me.
In a stand-up fight?
Yeah.
Wow. Damn, Aaron Blanchfield minus 145 in the co-main. I know where my money's going. Against Talia Santos. Well, yeah, we'll close. Wow, minus 825 for Max Holloway.
Close it out, man.
All right. Well, that's it, boys. Shout out to everybody in the comments. Thank you for being active. Gabe, Ron, Jeremy, Josh,
Bull. Eddie was here for a second.
Everybody,
the guy from YouTube, I forgot his name, Kremster. Yeah. Appreciate you coming through and commenting on everything, guys. I really do like that.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll probably there won't be another main event maybe until next month. I don't know if we're going to come back next week from MMA Tap Hour with a minus 800 favorite in the main event. Maybe we'll do a little recap of this pay-per-view. Something crazy might happen, right? Maybe Wei Lee gets dethroned. Maybe O'Malley surprises everybody and gets the win. But yeah, thanks for joining us, and that's it. It's a wrap.
All right, don't forget, coming NFL season, check us out on Sundays. We're going to be live every Sunday morning. And Ben will be making his return to the Sunday morning podcast. I know we missed him a lot last season, but we're getting him back.
Yeah, fantasy football draft's also right around the corner, so maybe we'll come on here and do a little mock draft, maybe do a little bit of fantasy talk with Roland next week.
And sign up for that thing we're running, the contest. What is that contest?
Yeah, we have a survival pool going, $20. You get to pick one team a week to win. Once you pick that team, you cannot pick them again the rest of the season. So you kind of got to strategize, pinpoint when you want to use the Chiefs, when you want to use the Bills, when you want to use the Eagles. And the last man standing is going to win the prize, $20. There's not a limit to the entries. You can have up to 5. So I guess there is a limit. But you're not limited to 1 entry is what I meant.
Yeah, you can have up to 5.
Yeah, so up to 5 entries. But yeah, look at our socials for that. That link's been posted, and that'll be up there until kickoff of the first Thursday night football game.
All right, man. Peace.
Peace.